Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the Jared Elliott Show. I'm your host, RJ Larson, joined as always by Western Illinois head football coach Jared Elliott. Western Illinois was in a battle on homecoming this past Saturday at Hanson Field against their in-state rival, the Southern Illinois Salukis. Southern Illinois jumped out to an early 21-0 lead, but Western once again crawled their way back into the game, battled all the way through, the force it into overtime. Both teams would score on their first play of overtime, but unfortunately Western Illinois going for two, and the Salukis made a great play at the end to stop the Lovings just a few yards short of potentially knocking off the 7th-ranked team in the FCS, and the Salukis held on for a 31-30 win. And, Coach, to be down 3 scores against a really good Southern Illinois team, fight your way back, and have the game that your team did, how impressive was their fight and determination in that game?
Yeah, it's something that we've seen, now, more than one occasion, and I love the character of this football team. I've said that before. There's a lot of resilience and belief and an expectation to go out there and do well and compete and win, and our guys did that again on Saturday. And we've got to figure out how to play a better first half, and start faster in games. We need to do that, but how this team just has no quit in them is very encouraging. Couldn't be more proud of this football team, RJ, and I mean that now. I could not be more proud. I love these guys. I love coaching these guys, and they have a will and a determination that it takes to be a good football team. There's things that we got to do better, and we gave ourselves a chance to win and go finish the game, and so there's a lot to be proud of there, and we got to get back to work and continue to correct the things we need to get a different result this week.
And before the game even started on Saturday, there was a weather delay and your team was forced to go back to locker room. And how tough was that for your team, having the mindset that they're about to go ready in the battle and then they have to kind of cool off and then all of a sudden just go right back out there and get back in that mindset again?
Yeah, it's you got to control the things you can control, and we had a somewhat of a going into the day that weather could be an issue, and the timing of it, like you said, right before kickoff can play games with you. I thought our kids were fine in that aspect of things, and we've got a lot of mature players and guys that know how to handle that the right way. There was a good focus. I felt like when we came out, we were able to get loosened back up and go, and we just got to start in terms of execution faster. It wasn't a matter of guys being asleep or just being sluggish out the gate. That wasn't it. Our guys played hard the entire game. We got to execute quicker, and that'll help us obviously throughout the duration of a football game.
And the point that started that comeback for your team after being down 21-0, a big kick from Mason Laramie from 50 yards out. And for you, how special is it having a kicker at the college level being able to kick from that distance? Yeah, no,
Mason's got a big leg, and we're confident and very comfortable with Mason that you're in that fringe area that you have the ability to have a shot at putting points on the board. That's a big weapon for any team to have, and it is for us. And so our guys have a lot of confidence in Mason. Mason is someone that is, he likes those moments and he wants those types of big kicks, and he's proven that he can hit them now, multiple times.
And fans are just seeing it right now on the screen, the big Jalen Pope pick six that was really a turning point of momentum in the game for your team. And just on that play, Jalen didn't look like anyone was going to be able to bring him down. How impressed were you with his determination to score on that play?
Yeah, it was a great play. It really was an amazing individual effort by Jalen. He played with great eyes and solid all the way. And we talk about that a lot when you have an opportunity to make those types of plays. We got to make them, and Jalen did. And not only made a huge takeaway for us with positive field position, but the fight and want to. He showed a whole lot of want to go get that ball in the end zone for us. And defensive touchdowns don't come easy, and so no question that was a huge part of the game for us.
And the offense did have a little bit of a slow start, but eventually got going in the second half. In that fourth quarter, 2 really big touchdown drives to tie the game. And Miles Wanza on the ground, 89 yards in that second half. How impressed you with his performance to help get the offense going in that game?
Yeah, Miles played a very important role for us on Saturday, and Miles is going to be very important for us moving forward. We didn't. He was out against Youngstown State. We didn't have him available, and he did. He created a spark for us. Credit to our offensive line, did some really good things in the run game, and Miles ran the ball with really good vision and burst, and when we're able to find that kind of balance, it helps our helps our offense out, immensely. And so it's great to have Miles back, and excited about Miles and what he can do for us week in and week out moving forward.
And with Miles and Ludovic Choquette in the backfield, you got kind of that speed back and that power back style of player. So how big is that, having those two different style of runners, with what Miles being a guy that we saw on Saturday being able to get through the holes and speed his way up the middle, and then Ludo being really big on the screens this year and really big in pass blocking as well?
No, I think it's it gives you the ability to do different types of jobs when you have, backs that have different skill sets, and they can all bring their own unique, skill and abilities and different ways to help impact your football team. So, we're in a situation, RJ, where we need a lot of guys on our roster. At running back, you need a lot of guys. It's all hands on deck, and we need a committee of guys that we can trust to go out there and get the job done for us and make plays. And so, obviously, Miles and Ludo and Josefa and Deshaun Gavins and Jalen Reed, these guys are all going to need to continue to develop for us as the year goes on and be a big part of what we do offensively.
And Coach Shuppe in the overtime and that two-point conversion. I mean, me and Doc, we thought we had Southern Illinois because we thought we were going to get that two-point conversion, because they seemed kind of flustered after giving up that first touchdown. But just on that play when Dennis ran to the outside defender, really I think made a great read on that play, and they just unfortunately stopped you a few yards short. And how disappointing was that end result, knowing just a couple yards away from getting that win?
Oh, I know it is, and I think when you have a battle like that, and it's a long fought game that goes all the way down to the wire, and those are, for any competitor, those losses aren't easy, and they shouldn't be easy. And I hurt for our players, for our staff, and again, very proud of how we battled back to have an opportunity to win that game. We are always going to play to win here. I have a lot of confidence in our offense, especially from 3 yards to go beat the number 7 team in the country. I'll take that at any moment. Credit to Southern Illinois. They made a great play, and we had a play that we've repped a lot and we've put a lot of time into for that situation. And Southern made a great play, and it didn't go as planned. It didn't work, and sometimes that's just is how it is. And so for us, it's going to be getting back to work. I know it can kind of comes down to that one play, but the game of football is so much about games that really go throughout the course of an entire game of 4 quarters, and every phase there's still glaring areas there where we are very, very close to being able to not even be in those situations, and the game is won earlier. So that's the challenge for us. Our guys are excited to get back to work. We had really good meetings on Sunday, and practice starts again tomorrow as we prepare for another really good Missouri Valley football team.
And, Coach, you just mentioned how, for a football game, it's about playing all 4 quarters. One play doesn't determine a game all the time. And, the big frustrating side, I think, on Saturday was the penalties for your team. And the big one was really on that onside kick where your team was called for an offsides after you recovered an onside kick. And when you execute a play to perfection like you did and have it negated by that mental mistake, how frustrating is that? Yeah,
those are the things when you're playing, really anybody, but, when you play the schedule that we play and you're in the conference that we're in, and, you've got to play clean football games. And you talk a lot about self-inflicted wounds, and the game of football is so much, a lot of it is about just eliminating mistakes, and those types of mistakes come back to haunt you, and they did, I think, in a lot of different moments. Way too many penalties, and penalties are going to happen. We had a lot of penalties where they're effort plays, and you're just playing the game of football. But then there's the penalties that we obviously can control, and so we address those things. Our guys understand those things, and we've got to be a lot better in those areas. For us to get the outcome that we want against really good football teams like Southern.
And defensively, your defense only came in on that game with 1 sack on the season. They ended that game with 5 total, and they were laying down some hard hits on Southern Illinois. And as a coach, how excited does it get you to see your defense play with that level of physicality?
Well, that's how you play the game. That's our intent, to play that way every time we take the field. That's what good defensive football looks like. It was very encouraging. Was really proud of our guys, and specifically again that second half. But I felt like our defense got into a rhythm even there in the second quarter, and that's a really good offense now. That's a really good offense that has a lot of depth, and they do a really good job getting, their dynamic playmakers the ball a lot of different ways, stretching the field, and making you play in space. So our guys did, I thought our guys responded the right way. We brought a physical edge and element to our style of play, but that again is, that's what defensive football is, and that's the expectation and the standard for us every time we take the field, and we need to continue to build on that.
And, Coach, you talked about that great Southern Illinois offense. I mean, Nick Baker, he came in as probably the second-best quarterback behind Connor Sampson, the Valley. Those two great running backs they had, the great receiving core. And your defense held Southern Illinois just 51 yards on the ground that game. That was an extremely impressive stat line in my eye. And for me, the defensive line had the best game of the season that I saw. How impressive were you with their performance?
Yeah, no, it starts up front. It always does. And I thought our guys won, for the most part throughout the night. Those guys won the battle at the line of scrimmage. And I thought our guys ran and hit well. They saw things well. I thought we played, maybe more gap sound, and our guys bought into an aggressive style and an aggressive game plan, so I thought that there was there was really from beginning to end, you could kind of see our defense just playing with a lot of confidence, and momentum starts to shift and get on your side. That obviously helped as the game went on in the second half. But I was really encouraged. Jalen Poe made a huge play. Mike Lawson is continuing to play at a high level for us and doing some really good things. Darius Joyner, Greg Benton is very active and was involved in 2 sacks and a couple TFLs. And Daniel Carson is really playing, starting to play at a high level for us up front. So and we need more. It takes all 11 and those guys being able to trust each other to continue to do their jobs. And defensive football is about relentless effort and a lot of times having bad intention when you get there, and that's the style of football that we want to play, and create negative plays and create takeaways, and our guys did that for a good portion of that game on Saturday. So it is encouraging. We still got a long way to go, continuing to tighten things up, and the word consistency we use a lot, but was very proud of how our guys went out there and performed and attacked a top-ranked offense.
And, Coach, you always talk about how important special teams is in a game. And Southern Illinois, their punter, Jack Cahoon, he had a really good game, I thought, and he really did a good job pinning you guys deep. How big of a factor is that when, the difference between 20 yards is starting a drive?
It's huge. We lost the field position battle, RJ, by 10 yards, and that's big. And they're averaging starting on the 31. We're averaging starting on the 21. And, all the hidden yardage that builds up throughout the course of a game is critical. And, when you look back, he did a really good job, and with his rugby style, and they directional kicked or cross kicked around the field. It makes it very hard to be able to field the ball, and so as a credit to those guys, they had a really good plan, but the special teams, hidden yardage, field position battle is always a major part of every game, especially in a conference like this, where regardless of who you play, they're going to be tight and they're going to be slugfest all the way to the end. That's an area that we've got to do better, and we've got to win the field position battle to give ourselves a better chance as the game builds on week in and week out.
And, Coach, as you head into your next road game against Indiana State, we did not see them in the spring season because they opted out. So last time you played them back in 2019, how would you say this program has changed since then?
Well, I'll tell you this. Coach Mallory is a very good friend of mine, and I have a lot of respect for him and his staff and his program. And nothing has changed in terms of their identity and who they are. Whenever you pop on an Indiana State football team or a Kurt Mallory coached football team, it always, how hard these guys play is always extremely impressive, and they still do, RJ. These guys line up and they play 1,000 miles an hour. I think that there's a lot of similarities between their program and ours in terms of those guys believe in each other. They believe in what, they got really good buy-in, and their expectation is to go win, and all those things are evident when you watch this team play on tape. And so, we're playing a really good football team. Our guys understand the Missouri Valley. You throw records out, you throw statistics out, you got to go be at your best. And so we have a great challenge this week against a very well coached team that plays extremely hard, that plays physical on defense. They give you a lot of different looks defensively, and they have an aggressive style of play, and offensively, Coach Mallory is going to commit to running the football. We know that, and that's going to be always a priority whenever you're playing this team is the physical element that they're going to bring to you. So it's going to be a great test for us, and but there's really no difference in this. I mean, they play the game the right way. They're disciplined, and they're well coached, and they play very hard.
And one thing that really caught my eye right away at Indiana State, they've done a really good job of getting to the quarterback this season. And for your offensive line after last week where, there were some moments where they had a little bit of issues protecting Connor, how do you build on this past week to get ready for them?
Yeah, every team you play, presents a different challenge or uniqueness. And a lot of times it's scheme, and I think Indiana State and what they're doing defensively presents a lot of challenges through their scheme, and they give you a lot of different presentations and pictures, and it's going to take really good communication and just technique and guys doing their jobs to keep our quarterback clean and to allow us to operate our offense. And but I RJ, you're exactly right. You watch them on the defensive side of the ball, and this is a defense that thrives just on negative plays, on sacks, on TFLs, they've gotten their hands on the ball and generated takeaways in big moments. So, it's going to be very important for us to be able to execute our scheme and to be able to protect and be able to run the ball and do the things. But it's going to start with great communication and against a scheme that I think presents a lot of challenges for you.
In Indiana State, they had some really good wins in the non-conference season, but in conference play, they've had a couple setbacks, a couple of big losses to the South Dakota State and South Dakota, and they've had just 10 points combined in those two games. And for your defense, what do they need to do upcoming on Saturday to repeat that same success?
Well, it's just, for us, it's getting back to work, and there's still areas that, we have got to get better at. It's consistent tackling still, and you saw it, RJ. There's just too many, times where we have opportunities to get the ball down or get to fourth down, and we're missing out on those opportunities. So, for us, it's really no different than every week. We're going to come up with a plan, and guys got to execute the plan by being in their gaps, by playing with great eye discipline, great communication pre-snap, having some urgency, getting lined up, and then being able to get off blocks and tackle, and keep the ball in front of us. And so that's defensive football, and Indiana State presents a lot of different challenges and the ways that they're going to run the ball and the different pictures they're going to give you pre-snap formationally and personnel wise, and they do a good job with their pre-snap movement, and so it's going to require us to be at our best, and so we need to have a great week of practice and preparation to be able to go and do what we need to do this week.
And, Coach, you talked about Indiana State offensively, a team that likes to run the ball a lot. And I noticed that they kind of like to run two quarterbacks during games. Is that because they've had a couple of these blowout losses, or do they try to incorporate both of them into their offensive game plan?
Yeah, it looks like they're playing both of them right now in their game plan. And I like both of them. They're, the Wilderman kid has been around, and he's been in their program for a while. And, I think he's a game manager and has a really good feel for what they're doing, and he gets the ball out on time and good rhythm, and I still remember playing him in 19, that he's slippery and he's hard to corral, and he makes plays with his legs, and then the transfer from Northern Illinois has got a real quick, compact, tight release, throws a good ball, and he's athletic as well and is able to move and space and extend plays. So I think both of these guys present a little bit of a different feel for Indiana State on offense, and you have to have a plan for both.
And, Coach, final question. With Indiana State being in a situation where they are, where they're 0-2 Missouri Valley play, and if you guys, I should say when you guys beat them on Saturday, they'll fall to 0-3. But, being 0-3 in the Missouri Valley, that really hurts your playoff chances going forward. So for them to be kind of in a desperate state right now, and for you to have that opportunity to put them in that desperate state, but obviously, like you said, they're going to be physical, they're going to fight back, and that to go to on the road and play them in a situation where it's kind of boom or bust for them, how much tougher does it make it?
Well, again, I know this. I know Coach Mallory. I know this football team. I know where we are. Everyone, I've been in this conference long enough now, and Coach Mallory has, and everyone that's been in the Missouri Valley understands that it is truly a 1-week season every week. And right now, I don't think playoffs is on anybody's mind. It is trying to get to practice, come up with a great plan, have a great week of preparation to go beat your best, on Saturday. We know that this is going to be an absolute battle for us. And going on a road and playing a really good Missouri Valley team, a well-coached team, and a team that plays really hard and they're physical and they do things the right way on special teams and they run the football and they stop the run and create negative plays. This is going to be a really good challenge for us. And so, I know both teams are in the mode of just, trying to go out there and be 1-0 this week, and that's where we are. And it's going to take us to go beat our best this week to get that done.
Absolutely, Coach. Western Illinois, a tough battle ahead as they head to the road to take on the Indiana State Sycamores. Kickoff is set for 12 p.m. upcoming on Saturday. You can catch all the action on Love the Neck Sports Network with myself and Dr. Tom Cody. Until next week, Love the Neck fans, thank you for tuning in. I'm RJ Larson. Thanks for watching.